All right, we're live and muted, but it's playing the video.
Mask off. I can breathe now.
Start with your communism.
What is that?
Huh?
What is that?
Jamie's gonna sit there. Is that all right? Jeez.
Cell phone off.
What if my mom calls? We're going to put his tablet here so that we can see it. Hopefully it's visible enough.
I was thinking we should have sound effects.
Who's introing?
I will do it.
Okay.
Like when somebody buys something, we can do like cha-ching.
Twitch.
Take those white ones out of the way.
The
ones that you're not using.
Yep.
Just put them on the table behind you or something.
Okay. I'm going to start the countdown. You're live.
I was distracted by the music. Thank you for joining us here at the Dark Side. I am Paul, and this is Eric. We're going to be going through a handful of new releases this week, and then a handful of back issues, and we picked up a couple trades as well, just to flush it out a bit. If this is your first time with us, make sure you fill out a form on the link below. It's going to be $9.99 flat rate shipping. So however many books you want to pick up, it's going to be $9.99. We do our invoices on Saturday. All right, we ready to go, Eric?
Yes, we are.
All right. Where do we want to start? Can we make this pic bigger, Brian?
Yeah, give it to me and I'll take a look at it.
Well, I'm going to start off right in the middle here with Ghost Rider, The Return of Vengeance. Ghost Rider is a favorite of mine. The character of Vengeance is a lesser-known Ghost Rider character from the 90s. I was very pleased with this one-shot, this one single story, and I was very, very pleased to see that Howard Mackey was back writing. He's the guy who wrote the majority of 90s Ghost Rider, which is my favorite.
Yeah, I thought it was excellent too. I'm not normally much of a Ghost Rider person, but I thought I would check this out, and I thought it was a really good story. I think they did a good job bringing people in who weren't familiar with the character.
Yeah, I really think that if you don't read Ghost Rider, if you've never read Ghost Rider, this is a decent introduction to that mythos, to hell.
I would definitely co-sign on that. It was very good.
My favorite MCU film.
Yeah. It's not MCU. It's not in the Sonyverse.
Is it though? I thought it was just okay.
No,
It's
not
pretty,
technically. Like Blade and stuff like that.
Yeah, absolutely.
The one thing I was disappointed with about the Ghost Rider book was they did like 4 covers, and they were all awesome, but they did not bring back Mark Teixeira to do it, and he is like my iconic Ghost Rider artist. Like, again, 90s Ghost Rider, his stuff is amazing. I do have one of his books later on in the back issues, one of the coolest covers ever in the history of anything. So we'll get to that in a bit.
Is this that one that you had shown me before? Like with the flavor?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Oh, yeah, that one's cool.
No spoilers.
Oh,
No spoilers.
it's cool.
If we had gotten around to getting name tags made for the store, it would have been half of my name tag. Rose.
Yeah, Rose.
Alright, so what is that top?
Showdown.
That's going to be Namor.
Namor. Oh yeah, King in Black. So this is Namor King in Black 2 out of 3. the Namor books, as Eric pointed out last week, people have not been enjoying the Namor so much. And I read this one, and I also did not love it. Best thing about it is that they kind of backstory introduce the Cthulhu mythos into the Marvel universe.
Oh, that's awesome.
Which is awesome, but it also kind of sucks. It's like, come up with your own mythology.
Hey, DC's been doing it for years, so it's only about time Marvel
I
did it.
love me some Lovecraft as much as he sucked as a person. I love Lovecraft. And I love Cthulhu 15 wedged in there with all of this other.
So what about it hasn't been as satisfying? Is it the writing? Is it the art? Is it the combination?
I don't love the arcs. The writing is fine. I mean, it's Kurt Busiek. His dialogue is fine.
Okay.
The story flows weird.
All right.
And it doesn't really seem to tie too much into the King in Black.
I've heard that about a lot of the books.
I think most of the books have so far. This is the only one that I've come across.
But that one particularly, I've
Yeah.
heard, is not.
And so that's why I'm like, are they trying to make Cthulhu a symbiote god or something?
And that would be cool. I
Hmm.
think.
So pick up your copy today.
Yes. After this glowing announcement. Yeah. Did you read the other one, the Iron Man Doom?
I didn't get a chance to. I really want to because I love Doctor Doom.
It's enjoyable. It's much better than Namor. It is a standalone. It has it is in the King in Black story, but it has you can totally skip it. But it's a lot of fun. All I can say is nullified Santa Claus.
How has Cantwell been doing with Doctor Doom? Because I know he's been working on the character
He's
lately.
been doing good.
Excellent.
Everything he's writing is solid.
Okay.
Yes, Rose?
I just thought of the Cthulhu mythos,
Uh-huh.
King Black, King in Yellow.
Right.
I just got it.
Yes. Maybe they're like lanterns and there's kings in the whole spectrum.
Oh, that. I don't know how Jeff Johns would feel about that.
Well, it's not like he hasn't ripped anybody off.
Fair play. Fair play.
Wow. We're so mean to creators on this show.
I know. Nobody's ever going to visit us.
Listen,
We'll punch you.
listen, Kurt Busiek, I'm sorry we're not being nice about Namor, but we love you here. I assume.
Yeah.
Marvel's is one of my favorite comics, I swear.
Well, his Astro City is amazing.
Yes.
Like, that
Astro
was
City's phenomenal.
I need to read more of it. Next, we have Tales from the Dark Multiverse. Metal. So I have to say, I really enjoyed this. I have very mixed feelings about the original Metal series, stemming from the fact that Batman is not exactly my favorite comics character. But I think that the Tales from the Dark Multiverse Metal story was really good.
I liked it. I thoroughly liked it. I wasn't sure if I was going to because the last few I haven't loved.
Okay.
But yeah, I mean it's awesome.
Yeah.
And favorite part of the book features Zatanna's hand. That was awesome.
I enjoy.
Intriguing.
No spoilers.
I won't give a spoiler, but Dick Grayson has a moment involving musical instruments that just
It's,
made me laugh.
it's definitely reaching the silly parts
Yeah.
of the metal universe.
If you enjoy ridiculous, over-the-top, fun comics, I think this is a book for
And
you.
I do like that Duke is the main character.
Yes, Duke Thomas is a character who I think has a lot of potential, and I would like to see them work a little more with him. Because having Luke Fox be Batman as is upcoming made me a little worried about Duke's place in the Batman mythology. I'm hoping that maybe after this they'll work more with him because he has a lot of potential, in my opinion.
Yeah, he was very well fleshed out in this. If you'd never read a Duke Thomas story before,
I agree with you there.
Like, what's next?
Oh.
This last one I did not read up top here. The Wolverine, technically the 300th issue of Wolverine.
350.
350th issue.
Sorry.
So, I'm not typically, once again, just with Batman, I'm not typically a Wolverine reader. However, this story had a lot of the elements that I like from a Wolverine story. It focused a lot on his history and the muddled elements of it, and how he is a person who has a hard time understanding where he came from because he's lived for so long. And I felt that delving into his memories and his struggle with his past and his present was really excellent. In particular, I definitely liked the prologue sequence in the first couple of pages more than the main story, but I still think it was a very good book.
And that's Maverick on the cover.
Yes.
I've seen him, character from the 90s.
And this appears to be a launching point for a new story. So if you have not started this series yet, from what I can tell, this seems like it's going to be a good place to start.
Wasn't there one of the creators you were interested in? That's why you wanted to read it. Was it a writer or an artist for the Wolverine?
No, it was just because it was a big issue.
Oh,
I think you're thinking of a different issue. I do love Ben Percy, though. He worked on the Wolverine podcasts, which are really good. That's like my definitive Wolverine stuff, personally, because like I said, I'm not usually the hugest fan, but he found a way to get those elements of the character and make it work. So if you haven't listened to those, I also recommend those, because I believe those are free online.
Is he the guy who did like the Long Last Night or whatever that?
Yeah, The Long Night is what I'm
Yeah.
talking about.
Yeah.
It's very good stuff.
Which
He also
turned
did
into
the
a
comic
comic.
adaptation. Yeah.
All right, back down here to the bottom, we've got X-Men,
Yeah.
which Eric read.
Speaking of the X universe, in case it wasn't clear last week, I love the X-Men, and I loved this issue. Jonathan Hickman has continued to deliver with the X-Men, not quite a reboot, but certainly a relaunch. The current X-Men book has been very different from what one would expect from a book called X-Men, and I think with this issue, it's going to start to resemble more what you're looking for, because this issue is a huge turning point in the current landscape of the mutants and the island of Krakoa. So I recommend checking it out. The last couple of pages had me very excited. That's all I'm going to say about that one.
Hooray Democracy.
Yes, Hooray Democracy is a very good way to sum up this issue.
To the next over, we've got the Justice League, the last issue of the Endless Winter. I made it through the entire Endless Winter.
How's that possible? It's supposed to be endless.
Hey man, I didn't write it.
Blame Ron Mars.
Same person who did the Never-Ending Story
Yeah.
probably wrote the Endless
Probably.
Winter. What a crock.
Rose is not
I think
enthused
you
at
gave
that
me money's
intro.
worth.
I hate the never-ending story.
Sad Horses. That why?
I've never seen it.
What?
No, it's not even the. It's
Yeah.
I don't like puppets.
Oh yeah.
Not even this one. I don't like Jim Henson-y puppets.
No Muppets for Rose. Got it.
All right.
It's a fairly satisfactory ending to the Endless Winter. Definitely sets up Black Adam. I'm pretty sure after the next 2 months of the future states, pretty sure he joins the Justice League.
It's been heavily implied, yeah.
And this definitely sets up an animosity within the group.
Yep.
Not that there wasn't ever before. But
Justice League not getting along? Never. All right. So next we have the second issue of the Power Pack Outlawed miniseries. I've really been enjoying this. Power Pack was not a team I was particularly familiar with before reading this, but I've heard good things. It's the original series was Louise Simonson and June Brigman, who I love. And this has been really good too. Ryan North, who did a lot of work on Squirrel Girl, has been writing it. And it's just really fun. The main concept of the Outlawed event doesn't really interest me, but this series is only tangentially tied to it. So if you are interested in a fun story but haven't been reading Outlawed, you can still love this all the same. I think it has some interesting ideas about what being a superhero is, and it's also just cool to see superheroes having fun. Sometimes you have so many characters snarling and grimacing, so it's good to have characters who are actually enjoying themselves.
I agree.
M and Ruben are both going to pick up the X-Men comic.
Okay.
So we'll grab that and we'll put that in their files.
Okay.
Say hello to Ruben.
Hi,
Ruben.
Hope everything's all right.
Yeah, stop being sick.
He also wants the Endless Winter.
Okay.
Um, okay.
Right there. That's fine.
That's a pretty glowing endorsement. I love some Squirrel Girl.
Yes.
Like
me too.
that writing is phenomenal. So
So I will say it is a different kind of book,
sure.
but he brings that same kind of fun energy, and I would say that this is a good comic for younger readers. Sometimes it can be tricky, but this is a comic that I think kids can really enjoy because it is a comic about kids, and I think that there's also like these little like cartoonishly drawn like kid comic summaries of everything in the beginning, and they are delightful because it's Katie Power telling you the story of what happened so far.
That's a lot of fun.
Yeah.
I look forward to reading it. Next up, we have that Kaiju Score #2. It's a lot of fun, just like the first issue. If you like caper movies, if you like monsters, it's fun. I mean, so far it's just a setup caper movie.
I am going to have to check that out. I love monsters and caper movies, so that sounds like a good time.
Kaijus and crime. that's yeah. This issue, the first issue was them, the planning phase. This issue is the action phase, and then I don't know what the next issue will be.
Well, I'm sure everything's going to go super well. There's not going to be any complications or anything like that.
Yeah, but no, it's good. It's going to be fun. Like if they made this into a movie, it would be a hit. It'd be a lot of fun.
Glowing endorsement there, Paul.
I didn't mean to.
You can chime in if you want.
All right.
What's over there?
So next we have probably the comic I was most excited for this week, which is the Ginny Hex special. Ginny Hex has been a delight. She was a character introduced in Bendis's most recent run on Young Justice. Unfortunately, it just ended. But this book was just, I loved it. If you like Jonah Hex, if you like teenage characters, if you like the works of Magdalene DeZaggio, I highly recommend it. Ginny Hex is, I think, my favorite character that DC has introduced in the last 10 years. She's just awesome. She has a trunk full of nonsense in her car.
How cowboy is it?
It's decently cowboy.
Yeah.
It's not
Is
like
it modern? Is it old west?
So yeah, it's modern. But being that Ginny Hex is the descendant of Jonah Hex, there is cowboy shenanigans that happen.
When did she get her face scarred?
I know. When does the scar and the big eye thing happen?
Not in this comic.
No.
I don't know. Ask Brian Michael Bendis.
I recently rewatched Jonah Hex.
Oh, you poor man.
Why would you do that to yourself?
It holds up.
Curiosity. It holds up just as good as it was 15 years ago. It's one of those movies that there's clearly, if they made it 2 hours long, there's clearly a better movie on the editing floor.
Can someone really can something really hold up if it fell apart the first time?
It holds up.
Did you
just
imagine
as
them
good.
purple the whole time?
Like Will Arnett's in that movie.
Really?
Yeah.
That's wild.
He's also the excellent Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles.
He is.
Wait.
He's the cameraman.
Which Ninja Turtles? There's
The
been a few.
original.
Okay.
Well, he's in the second one too.
Well, the same character, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
First one.
Gotcha.
The one that matters.
Okay.
Okay, moving on. Moving on.
Our last new book of the week.
Last new book of the week. I Walked with Monsters #2. It is so good. This read so quickly. You get a lot of the backstory of the main character. I mean, I can't really go into it. The synopsis of the story is that there are two people going around fighting monsters that attack children.
Okay.
And you find out that this main character, she had experienced this in her youth.
Okay.
And so it's violent. It's not an Eric comic. There's too much violence, too much blood and gore, but it's fun. It's a lot of fun, and it's kind of sad.
So what kind of comics fans would you recommend this to?
The people who like bloody, violent, sad, fun books.
Okay.
Those are
So,
the words.
Danielle Erickson would probably like
Oh
it.
yes, yeah, she would probably like that.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
Trying to think of anything else along the lines. Maybe like something is killing the children.
Okay.
Thematically and artistically.
Winnebago Graveyard.
I still haven't read, but you loved it, didn't you?
Yep.
So any notable creators on this one, or is it just...
I've read the names both times that I've read these books, and I do not remember who they are.
Fair enough.
Lots
It
of
is.
comments coming in. Ruben would like a walk with monsters, and Danielle wants to be subbed to it.
Thank you, Ruben and Danielle.
And then we have Lucid Curios saying, "I love horror."
Horror is the best. You can do so much with it. There's so many possibilities. It can be fun. It can be scary. It can be meaningful. It can be nonsense.
I love the aesthetics of horror, but I have a hard time with a lot of the details.
Which part of details? Bone sticking through flesh or subject matter details?
It depends on the movie.
Happy holidays.
Happy holidays from Paul and his horror comics.
Did you guys already cover the Ghost Rider stuff?
Yeah, that was the first thing we did because it's
He
I
was
was,
so
I was
excited
getting my
about it.
coffee. Sorry.
Paul loves
I love the covers. I like
Yeah.
the covers. I mean,
no, they're all four covers were awesome, but we sold out of I think cover B. But yeah, they're awesome. Like I was saying, my only complaint is that they didn't do a Mark Texiera cover. Texiera.
yes, that guy.
Yeah.
Mark, Texas.
Yes. Anybody have any questions on this week's new releases? And again, we're cutting back on the amount of new releases just simply because it's the back issues that you guys want. So
It was also a light week.
it was a very light week. Between Christmas and New Year's is always a light week. Everybody's
Oh,
at Marvel and DC drinking.
Danielle's interested. What's Something Is Killing the Children?
Oh, Danielle, you would love it.
Oh
End
yeah.
of story.
End of story.
Yeah.
Yeah, you don't even need to know what it is. Just know you will love it.
There's 2 trade paperbacks out so far. They're finishing up the 3rd story arc. So next time you're in, we'll have those for you because you're gonna love it.
Yeah. It's definitely up her alley.
It's so fun. And
Yep.
It's like it's a movie. Like it's already a movie. They just need to film it. And I was talking earlier. It either has to be what's her face, Amanda Seyfried with those big giant eyes,
Anya Taylor-Joy.
or Anya Taylor-Joy. That's what this figure was.
I knew what that finger was.
That's what finger I'm holding up.
Aw. This is a family
Either
show.
one of them.
Brian,
Anya
be
Taylor-Joy.
nice.
This is like the 4th time she's come. But she's awesome. And I think character-wise, because she is younger, she probably would be better fit.
Do we have any more of the Amazing Spider-Man that came out?
Negative.
Because that cover was amazing.
Yes. I'm going to tell you a story about that cover.
Okay.
As soon as that cover was announced, Brian was like, order more. And I ordered more. I ordered 20 more than we normally would have. And they all came in damaged. We had just enough to cover our subscribers. And that's it.
And a few special orders and that kind of thing. So.
And well, yeah, a couple people who had special ordered it. But like there was one to put on the wall this morning.
So are we going to get reorders on that, or are they
It's
sold out?
waiting on Diamond, yeah. I
Okay.
mean, as far as I know, they've authorized the return on them. So, but in the office, there's 20 damaged Spider-Mans with crunched corners.
That's a shame. That's such a beautiful cover. I can
Yeah.
go get the. Should I show the cover? Should I go get it? Or is that a tease? Is that
I
too
mean,
much?
if you want to, where do I put it?
I have one.
These are all with me.
Oh, you have yours, Danny?
Ruben really wanted it. He said he'll take an ugly one.
Well, we should, knowing Diamond, within 2 weeks, we should have our replacements. And that is assuming that they don't come in damaged again.
There's also a process video on Patrick Gleason's website where you can watch him make that cover.
Yeah, isn't it like, this is like inverse, right? He
Yeah.
sketches it out.
Yeah, and then you
Yeah.
flip it.
Yeah. This is one of those negative space covers that I just
It's gorgeous.
love.
Mm-hmm. No
Was it-
idea how the story is.
Was it you?
This is the cover
Was it
art.
you, Brian, that said it was going to be a modern classic?
I think so. I think it's. I mean, just the hype it got. Just from the interwebs.
Mhm.
Yeah.
No pun intended. But
I get it.
but yeah, I think it's one of the classic covers. I think it's definitely.
Yeah, it's, 10 years from now, people will still be seeking it out.
Absolutely.
Poster, it'll be a best-selling poster. Shall we move on to the back issues?
Back issue time.
Take those down,
Yep.
put those up. We're going to flip these real fast so that we can talk about, first and foremost, these are all adaptations, because I just watched the best adaptation ever of Wonder Woman 1984. I was so thrilled with that movie.
I haven't watched it yet.
Stop thrill ride.
Are you serious?
I can't tell.
I can't tell if you're serious.
I think Paul is dripping with sarcasm.
You're
I,
also not on camera right now.
I found it very boring.
I've heard that criticism that the first hour can be cut down to like 5 minutes.
Yeah, all of the fun, goofy, like, oh, he's in 1984 now. Like the humor, like, is all in the trailers. There's no new humor in there. So yeah. So, in the spirit of quality adaptations, these are all adaptations. Starting off with the Will Arnett classic, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, the movie.
I like that these are themed. Okay.
$6. It's in great condition to the point where it's like I was flipping through it and like I couldn't open it because the binding was still like bound. Like I don't think anybody's read it.
It wasn't cracked.
It was it was making noise. So what's not to love?
So you ruined it. That's what you're saying.
Yes,
Oh, it's no longer version.
I spread it apart.
So it's actually based on
It is the comic novelization of the movie.
the old one, not
Yeah,
the new one.
yeah.
Yeah.
Of the original movie
Mhm.
with Will Arnett
As the cameraman.
as the April O'Neil's cameraman.
Mm-hmm.
And what's his face as Michelangelo. Corey Feldman.
No, he's Donatello.
Dalton and Ruben both want the Teenage Mutant Ninja
Who?
Turtles. Dalton and
Oh
Ruben.
boy.
Should we give it to?
I
don't know
think
who's
they should
first.
fight.
They should definitely.
Okay. Well,
Let's,
we're gonna have to have some kind of.
We'll give it to Dalton. I think I've got a beat up one that Ruben can have.
Okay, Ruben, does that work for you?
Yeah.
Well, now that that's over,
Thanks for being a good sport, Ruben.
Yeah.
came across the Flash TV special, the best live action superhero TV show of the early 90s.
I was very excited when Paul found it. I love that show, and I love John Wesley Shipp. So
Yeah, no, I mean, it
very
was,
cool.
it was a great show in 1992, 91, whatever it was.
How do you rank it compared to the 2015 CW Flash show?
I think the modern Flash is fantastic. I think it's so much fun. I haven't watched it in a couple of years, but I think it keeps the tone and spirit of the comic better than most adaptations.
Yeah, definitely. I love it.
Yeah,
Grant Gustin is probably my definitive on-screen portrayal of the Flash.
absolutely.
Yeah, me too.
Though Michael Rosenbaum's voice as Wally in Justice League will always hold a special place in my heart.
And it was awesome. You brought it up earlier that he got to come back and both play. What's his,
Jay and Barry.
he gets to play Jay Garrick and Barry Allen
And Barry's dad.
and Barry's dad.
Mhm.
Yes.
Where's that book?
There wasn't one.
Okay.
Out of books.
There
We're
were
already out.
13 pegs, and
Oh.
Okay.
Next up, the only 3D book you'll ever need: Married with Children #1.
there, I'll just put that there.
I mean, I don't know what else to say about it.
Does it have the glasses?
It does have. It's still polybagged.
God.
It's still originally
It's still
polybagged. Wow.
Yes. Nobody has ever looked inside of
Rose, do you have a funny story about Married with Children?
No.
Yes,
Okay, so I did say earlier that when I was a kid, the intro credits to the show gave me nightmares.
Oh my god.
there because
It was very frightening because there was
Frank
a
Sinatra?
big stamp and then goo.
yeah, the goo.
I didn't like it. Cool.
3D, glasses included.
Glasses included. My Married with Children story is that back in the day when The Simpsons were first on, my brother and I, being the young kids we were, wanted to watch The Simpsons. And my dad was like, no, that's for adults. That's not for kids. And then like within a year, we were all watching the Sunday night lineup, which included Married with Children, which he was okay with us watching. And I mean,
Well, I think we're going to be able to find out what happens because Ruben would like the very
Oh my
children.
God.
That means that he's going to open it and we're all going to be able to read it in
And he's going to
3D.
devalue it.
Yeah, it's okay.
Ruben wants a lot of comics tonight, huh?
It's a
Ruben
good thing he's not
is
here.
in his sick bed,
Yeah.
and this is his entertainment for tonight.
I'm so sorry, Ruben.
Well, the thing is, if Ruben was here, I wouldn't have any books to sell.
That's probably true.
But thank you, Ruben. We miss you.
Yay, we got you, Ruben.
I kept myself restrained.
Since we are out of Albany, Battlestar Galactica #1, based
What
on
a
the
segue.
classic TV show, not the good TV show, but the classic TV show.
Paul has
I'm
strong
watching
opinions.
what I say because I have a feeling Brian loved the original.
I did love the original, and then I rewatched it.
Yeah.
I rewatched the entire. It's only one season, and it was really bad.
It's
It was
so
really
hard.
bad.
Katie Sackhoff is the better Starbuck.
Yes.
Several years ago, it was on Netflix or Hulu or whatever, and I was like, I'm going to watch this. And I watched like 3 episodes, and it was so hard.
It was really hard. Yeah.
But there with talks of both a new movie and a new TV show, or it depends on who actually holds the rights to it. We're either getting a movie and or a TV show. So that's exciting.
Yeah. I mean, the TV show from like the early 2000s
The
and the
sci-fi
mid 2000s
channel,
was
yeah.
just amazing.
It's
So
Although
Great show.
I'd have to say, if you had the whole DVD set, you don't need the first disc and you don't need the last disc.
maybe.
And everything in between is awesome. Once you hear Jimi Hendrix, it's just like,
Yeah.
I mostly know
Okay,
from
no
the board
spoilers.
game.
We're not going to spoil her.
don't spoil a 15-year-old show.
I was more of an
Pop
Andromeda
culture.
fan.
I mostly know the new series from the board game, which I've played many a time at this shop.
Yeah. An amazing board game, too, which is.
Sometimes I'm told 2 in the morning.
What are you pointing at?
What's the next one?
Next.
Ruben is just chomping at the bit about this one.
Oh, are you Ruben?
Skip it. If Ruben wants to skip it.
Yeah. It's not for sale.
That one is priceless because we don't
Yes.
technically have a price on it.
Kid and Play #8. It's for Ruben, right? Ruben, what's it? It's only $2.
He's dragging me for watching Andromeda right now.
But man, House Party, those were the best movies. What was the other one before House Party? Where like they swapped, it was like a Prince and Pauper thing.
That came after House Party.
Did it come after
Yeah.
House Party?
We had House
Trading
Party
Places?
2, the Pajama Jammy Jam.
Yes.
This is when I'm out. This is where I'm out of my depth.
The classic.
This is.
House Party
It's
3
good that you're not
too.
in.
That was good
Bernie
too.
Mac.
That
That was my
particular
introduction to Bernie
pool.
Mac.
It's an
Um,
actual
House Party
funny
also
movie.
had the rap group Full Force in it, along with Kid and Play.
Early appearances from Martin Lawrence in
Yeah.
those movies.
He
Yeah.
played Dragon Breath,
He
Oh
wants
my God,
the
Norm.
DJ.
Ruben wants the kid to play.
Ruben, do you need it? Tell me seriously, honestly. Is this something you need?
Ruben, don't listen to them. I'm going to keep my eye out for the rest of the series for you.
Is this like, are we like the good cop, bad cop here?
Depends on who's the good cop and who's the bad cop.
I'm probably the bad cop since
And
I'm
Ruben-
yelling at Ruben.
That is in great condition. So
It's definitely collectible.
you
Yeah.
can get them to sign. They still they could do conventions.
Really?
Yeah.
All right.
Since Ruben's buying everything, on to the best adaptation of all time, Beowulf Dragon Slayer, based on the oldest English language poem.
I think the oldest surviving one at the very
Right.
least.
I think this one was based on the Angelina Jolie movie.
Was it really?
Yes, because
No, that came out way before the Angelina Jolie movie,
We were
and
trying
way
to do
after
that.
the.
Are you
Yeah.
sure? Because I thought CGI existed in the 70s.
No.
So, Paul, what would you say is your favorite translation of Beowulf? Mine's the
Ooh.
Seamus Heaney edition.
Right. Yeah. No. That's that's my favorite too. There was a made for Sci-Fi Channel version. which
Oh,
was
lovely. So good. It's so good, actually, or so good in the way that anything from the Sci-Fi Channel that's not Battlestar Galactica is.
Moving on.
I plead the fifth.
Respectable. Farscape was dope.
Oh, that's true. I missed
Sci-Fi Channel has a lot of good stuff.
Oh, I'm just required to mod Sci-Fi
Eureka?
Channel. Okay, fine, you're right.
All right, on to the bottom.
Okay, fine, Rose, you're right.
The very first Marvel movie, Howard the Duck. The actual 3-issue movie adaptation.
I don't think that statement is factual. Because weren't there Marvel
No.
movies in the 60s?
Yeah.
No.
No.
There were
No,
made
first
for
TV
TV
shows.
They
Captain
were made for
America
TV,
70s
yeah.
movies.
Oh,
There
okay.
were
Okay, you meant cinematic, gotcha.
Theatrical
There-
release.
theatrical
there
Theatrical
were-
release. Like the Hulk TV show, the movie
Yeah.
is not, it was just like a 2-hour TV
Howard
episode.
the Duck is credited as the first Marvel
Well,
movie.
my bad.
Based in Cleveland.
And yes, starring Tim Robbins.
Directed by
I don't know.
George Lucas.
George Lucas.
Did he direct it?
Uh-huh.
This was after his
I
Star
knew he
Wars.
produced it. I didn't know he directed it.
I have it on
I
Blu-ray.
don't think he directed it.
Did he not direct it?
I feel like I would know that because he only directed like 3 things.
It also had that hot human on duck action.
Yeah.
Leah
Ugh.
Thompson.
Great.
She's picking on that Back to the Future, making out with a weird son and a
Caroline in the City.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
Who did direct it?
Willard Hyuk.
Oh yeah, he makes crap.
Like George Lucas doesn't?
But George Lucas did produce it.
Yeah,
So-
he was all about it.
So that's the original 3-issue run.
Yes.
Yep.
Of the movie adaptation, not the original 70s Howard the Duck comics.
Oh,
This is strictly from the movie. And Jeffrey Jones, questionable human being,
Ugh.
was the villain. Turned into that giant alien, creepy insectoid monster. That's the best part of the movie.
So is he? What did Jeffrey do?
You don't. We'll tell you later.
We're
This
not going
is-
to talk about that guy.
This is a family program, Brian.
All right.
This is not appropriate for a family program.
Frustrating because he's in so many great movies.
And
Yeah.
Disney had to remove an attraction because he
Yes.
was in it.
Wow. Okay.
So, on to one of the best movies of the 80s that nobody has ever seen, but everybody loves. Who has seen it?
Okay.
The Adventures of Buckaroo Banzai, starring RoboCop Peter Weller,
I only know about it because of a very bad movie that came out recently.
Jeff Goldblum,
Jeff Goldblum.
a
I met
number of other.
I met Peter Weller when I was living in New Orleans.
Yes,
He was at the same coffee shop as I was,
that's awesome.
and I went up to him, and I said, "I loved you in Buckaroo Banzai," and he was like, "What about RoboCop?" And I was like, "Yeah, but Buckaroo Banzai was
Buckaroo Banzai
the
is
shizzle."
awesome.
That's really
Yeah.
funny.
That's a universe that needs to get rebooted.
Yeah.
Yeah, today's technology. Did you know that he is like a professor in art history?
hmm
That's so funny.
He's very intelligent, very thoughtful, introspective person.
Maybe he should teach a class on comics art history.
I don't know if that's up his alley.
Fair.
All right, last up in the adaptation corner is Macross. Nobody cares.
For any of our anime fans,
Yeah.
this is for you.
I mean,
We love you, even if we don't love anime.
Yes, I honestly don't know if it is from Robotech or Macross Plus. It is listed as Macross. And this is a near mint version of this is like $70 because there was a very low print run on it. We have a really nice one in the case, I think, for like $50. But this one is nice, affordable, in the budget for $12. It's not in bad shape at all. It just has some extra creases that the other one does not. So that is a lot of fun. I know some people in my youth who would love to have it.
okay. Cool.
Thanks. Guys.
sorry, I'm looking up Jeffrey Jones.
So
This is the end of
did
that
you want to
one?
go here or there?
Let's go there and end here.
Okay.
All right, off to more back issues. This is a very Thor-heavy side. Eric, is there anything you want to start off? Read off those Thor numbers.
Yeah, so we have Thor 333. We have Thor 336. 355. 368. 374. 383. We have 384, which is the first appearance of the Thor of the 26th century.
Yes. Can you read his name?
Kator?
What's the rest of it?
Kator 26. Oh, Dargo Kator.
Yes.
Tarko Kator.
What a name.
Yeah.
And then we have
You can take that off.
Thor 396, which has one of my favorite characters, the Black Knight.
Yes. It's really weird having read comics for a long time, not ever hearing about the Black Knight, and then once he's in a movie, like I can't go 3 issues without finding him in something.
Yeah. I'm really excited for the new Black Knight series. He was a major character in Captain Britain and MI-13, which is one of my favorite series. So more Dan Whitman is not something I will ever complain about.
Does he still ride around on his like space buggy, like kind of horse? It was like a floating.
I think he has like a flying horse now.
Does he have a flying horse? It's not. It's no longer the
No.
flying motorcycle.
Well, that was the 90s.
That was the night.
Everyone had a vehicle that wasn't an animal in the 90s.
He and Hawkeye had they both tooled around on those things. Let's see. Ruben would like the Black Knight issue. That is, if I'm not mistaken, a Simonson issue. A lot of these are from the Simonson run, but not those first 2. Is that Dracula in the?
That is
first
Dracula.
issue?
I was going to
Yes.
say that if you guys were done talking about flying motorcycles.
Maybe we are.
But yeah, Dracula right there, and $3.33 for $3.
That is so many threes.
Dracula versus Thor, and it looks like Sif has been turned.
I'm curious how close this was to the X-Men issue where Storm got bitten by Dracula.
Well,
I don't know.
That was like a whole series.
I also think one of these is, I think it's 384, I think is a crossover with the Mutant Massacre.
Is it?
Which we talked about last week.
I mean, it was a big event.
Mm-hmm.
And this one is a forgotten tale of
The
Secret Wars.
The original Secret Wars.
Yes.
The action figure heavy Secret Wars.
The market-approved Secret Wars. Then we have Amazing Spider-Man versus Will-O-the-Wisp, which also has a 16-page guide to...
Collecting comics.
Yes. Which is really cool.
It is. They teach you what a convention is.
Really?
Yeah.
I need to know. I've never
Yeah.
been to one.
Yeah. That's that era, man. Conventions weren't really a thing, so you gotta learn.
We also have these lovely West Coast
I'm
Adventures.
gonna take the sticker off of the
Yes.
Spider-Man so people can see that cool cover. And you can take it off the West Coast Avengers as well.
Yes, we also have these cool West Coast Adventures #1s. The first of the 4-issue limited series, and the second from the ongoing series, which coincidentally also is the first appearance of the Silver Centurion, one of the many aliases of Kang the Conqueror. So if you're excited about the new Ant-Man movie, which has Kang in it, this might be a lovely issue for you to pick up.
And it's a 39-page action epic.
Yes, we love our 39-page action epics in this shop. Right, Brian?
Like Beowulf.
Yes. Like Seamus Heaney's Beowulf, which I think that should be a comic instead of whatever that is.
Dalton would like the Spidey.
Okay.
See, I don't think West Coast Avengers get enough love. Like,
Interesting.
They're always seen as like the beta team, and they are, but
And they're not the Great Lakes Avengers.
yeah.
No.
See,
I mean, they're one step up, I guess.
I'm really partial to Hawkeye, so
See,
I'll read anything.
In my
he says.
opinion, West Coast Avengers is the C team only because Young Avengers exists. Because Young Avengers is like the best. And then the last thing we have on this rack is a comic that has me excited, which is the first issue special #12, which features the first appearance of the McCall Thomas version of Starman. I am a big fan of the James Robinson Starman run, and so this was a early formative pickup for me when I was younger and reading comics. It's a great story. It's much closer to, tied into like the movie Starman than necessarily the Golden Age character. James Robinson tied in those characters later on, and I think it was an excellent choice on his part, because I think McCall Thomas is a really interesting character who is very different from all the other Starmen. And I highly recommend it if you haven't gotten a chance to read it. It's unfortunate that the story didn't get to continue until Robinson decided to pick it up.
Okay.
Yeah, I didn't know that there was a blue Starman.
He's waiting in the sky.
That's a David Bowie reference.
Yes, I know.
All right. Right over here, we've got some more back issues. Lovely, lovely back issues. This may look familiar.
Oh.
I don't think it's based on anything. This is the unauthorized biography of Lex Luthor. You know, egotistical billionaire.
Doesn't it all look like the Art of the Deal cover?
Nope.
I don't know what you're talking about. I don't know.
What is it?
Was that a reference to something?
Yeah, Rose, what's Art of the Deal? I'm not familiar.
I mean, this was early 90s?
Yes, that sounds about right.
92, 93? I mean...
And this eventually would lead to the President Luthor storyline. This was sort of the start of... Not a fan?
No, just the life paralleling arc.
Yeah, right? Who would have thought that DC Comics would have predicted that one?
I don't know what you're talking about.
The people who write The Simpsons would know.
Yeah. I mean, he doesn't even look like Luthor in that.
Well,
He looks like a kingpin.
Yeah.
You're right, yeah.
This
Yeah.
is...
Generally.
Okay, Rose.
I do feel like this is like the birth of like, maybe not the birth, but like the proper gestation of how we see Lex Luthor now.
I definitely
these days.
agree with that.
It's less of the like super villain with inventions, more of like the corporate CEO type character.
Yeah.
Yep.
Because they're evil. I mean, they are in every movie and everything.
Yeah.
So,
And in real life.
hey, I resemble that remark.
All right. Next up, we have a couple. The great-great-grandfather of Ginny Hex.
Yes.
A couple of Jonah Hexes here.
Yeah, we thought that, since Ginny Hex got her own special this week, it would be appropriate to give you an issue of Jonah Hex and an issue of All-Star Western. All-Star Western was one of my favorite series from back when the New 52 was still a thing. In particular, I love how it didn't just have Jonah Hex, it built up the entire sort of world of the Wild West at the time. It's just a really good book. If you like Westerns, if you like Jonah Hex, if you like Jimmy Palmiotti, both of these issues are great pickups.
Jonah Hex is a hero of Gotham, right? Or was that retconned in the New 52? Or was that part of the New 52 like relaunch? Or?
I think originally he wasn't necessarily a hero of Gotham. I think he more just wandered around. But sometime in the 2000s and 2010s, I'm not sure if it was specifically the New 52 or if it was the first Jonah Hex series that we have here. But it is definitely a much more recent. Because in a lot of All-Star Western, he's teaming up with Amadeus Arkham, who founded Arkham Asylum, which is really interesting.
Yeah, I do. Just want to point out this awesome, fairly up-close portrait of Jonah's awesome face with a nun attacking him from behind.
Who doesn't love nuns attacking cowboys?
Dalton will like both of those.
Very well. Dalton, if you want, let us know. I can see if I can dig out some more Jonah Hex for you.
Yeah, we definitely have a lot more All-Star Western if you want more of that. I don't know about the other series.
Detective Comics featuring Etrigan the Demon. Of course, one of my favorites.
Same.
Created by Jack Kirby. It's just Etrigan's a fantastic character, and it's always fun when he teams up with Batman. And this is written by Alan Grant?
Yes, Alan Grant. We actually have a customer who looks like Jason Blood in our Magic players.
Interesting.
Victor Falcone.
Yeah, he's got the white. Yeah.
Should see if he can recite the...
He doesn't... I told him about Jason Blood. He didn't know who he was.
Yeah.
He's married to one of my friend's high school friends.
That's funny.
Yeah.
I didn't know that Jason Blood was married to...
Yeah. It's a very, very small world. Next up, what do we have? Oh, Multiversity. That's one you picked out for us.
Yeah, so I picked out Multiversity because a lot of the characters from it have been showing up in Death Metal right now, which is an event that I've been enjoying. It's definitely on the more ridiculous side of comics. But Multiversity was Grant Morrison's attempt at reimagining and consolidating what the DC multiverse would look like at the time. And it's really cool because it's not as much a concrete series as a series of number ones. So a lot of the body of the series is, here's a possible number one for a series set on this planet that a writer down the line could maybe pick up from if they wanted to. And I think Multiversity is really cool because it ties all of his past projects together while also creating something new. So if you like Grant Morrison, if you like multiversal scale stuff, and if you like President Superman, then I highly recommend Multiversity 1.
Right in the middle of the screen there is another Thor book. This one we just happened upon at the last minute.
Yep.
And it's kind of awesome. It's an annual. I know a lot of people don't love annuals, but it's the end of the year, start of the new year, so it's annual. But this has 3 stories in it, and one of them is written by
CM Punk. He's a wrestler who we both like. Listen, I like wrestling, okay? I'm missing wrestling to be here. So.
He's one of my favorite wrestlers.
Same here.
Yeah, he's awesome. He also wrote that Drax series from about 10 years ago.
Yep.
Yeah.
Was it really that long ago?
It's been a while, yeah.
Huh.
It's been within he was still wrestling.
Weird.
Yeah, so he was probably still wrestling when he did this one. But yeah, he's
This
awesome.
was 2015, which was after he retired.
My bad.
Sorry.
Yeah, so this is in the era of the God of Thunder. So it's got Jason Aaron writing a King Thor story. And it's got, I forget who's writing the other one, but it's one of the not Valkyries, but Jane Foster Thor stories. So if you need a little bit of young female and old Thor, this is the book for you. Also, the cover. This is a variant cover. And can we zoom in there? There's we don't have to zoom.
Zoom is bring it physically closer.
Right there. Can you read that?
See that?
No, but what?
It's someone wearing a Spider-Man mask saying, "I pinned Bonesaw."
Hey.
So you got a Macho Man Randy Savage reference to the Spider-Man movie.
Yep.
In the same issue that you got. Also, they are wrestling. You got a wrestler writing the story, which is awesome.
That cover was almost certainly a reference to the fact that CM Punk's
And I'm
writing.
pretty sure that if you guys don't buy it, Eric is.
I mean, that's a really distinctive cover.
Agreed.
It's not something you would think of when looking at a Thor book.
Absolutely, and that's why I think it's stellar.
Juxtaposition of content and
Like, it reminds me of the that Italian guy that we've been featuring.
Sergio Aragones.
That's
That's a really apt comparison. I didn't think about it, but you're absolutely right, Rose.
again.
There's
Yeah.
Frog Thor is also on the cover.
Is he?
Yeah, he's holding up the number 1.
Speaking of Frog
Frog.
Thor,
Frog.
if you're a Frog Thor fan, there's a little bit of Power Pack this week that might make you smile.
It might. It probably won't, but it might.
Okay, Paul.
Next door to that, we've got an issue of G.I. Joe with cover art by John Byrne. I know G.I. Joe is not part of my wheelhouse, but I know a lot of people dig it.
Yeah, those are the Dreadnoks on the front, man.
Do what now?
The Dreadnoks.
What was that?
That's who they are.
I don't think that's a word.
Yeah, me
That's
neither.
That's the name of their
What is
Made
a
up
biker
word.
gang.
What is a GI Joe? I don't know. I don't know much about military propaganda.
It's a line of amazing 3-inch action figures.
They're real American heroes.
Oh boy.
Yes.
They're not a cash grab for toys.
The only one I know of is Sergeant Slaughter, and that's because he's a wrestler.
And again, excellent movies.
Well, hey, the 5-part animated movie from the early 90s was awesome.
Did you point at me?
Well, don't forget that some of these movies, so I've been told, have Rock the Dwayne Johnson.
Yeah, he's in the second one, isn't he?
Yeah.
Yeah, with Bruce Willis.
As the original G.I. Joe, right. Well, the comics were way better, because the comics were written by Larry Hama.
Mhm.
Ooh.
And
Created
they
like
were-
the whole mythology.
Okay, I'll
Yeah,
I'll
he
give you
created
that.
everything. And Larry Hama actually wrote for MASH and a couple of other things,
Yeah.
but I mean-
wasn't he a veteran?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I think he
actually, but-
was. I think that's why he got all the military work.
That makes sense.
But he was, but that whole series was just, it was way beyond anything that, just something created for a toy line.
Yeah, it's like
So,
G.I. Joe would not exist without him. It would
right.
just be toys with accessories, no story, no character. Yeah, he was crucial. Featuring art by John Byrne.
And that first movie had a cameo by Brendan Fraser
He did.
before his comeback.
And that character was also supposed to be the great-grandson of his Mummy character.
What?
Yeah. It's the same director.
That's wild.
Oh.
And they're like, do a cameo. You'll be his great-grandson.
All right.
Or grandson. I don't know how many generations removed they are. All right. What's next? Ooh, this was something that nobody has ever heard of, including Marvel. Dakota North Investigations.
What?
Brian, do you have any insight on this?
I bought that series when it came out
Yeah.
because it came out in the 80s
Yes.
and there wasn't a lot of stuff happening in the 80s. So every week when you went to the comic book, well, I went to a little bookstore that had comics, but like there were very few comic titles every week. And that was one of the new ones.
Mhm.
And yeah, so she's like an investigator and dresses like the Black Widow, but
Okay.
with like 80s
With
kind of shoulder
shoulder
pads
pads, yeah.
and yeah, they bring her back every once in a while as like,
Yeah.
hey, we need an investigator. Call Dakota North.
Someone that
you
isn't
know?
Jessica Jones.
Right.
Yeah, like
No superpowers.
There are
She's just-
PIs other than Jessica Jones.
when I first saw it, I was like, that name sounds familiar. And it's like because doing research on this, like she pops up in several
Yeah.
other things throughout the 90s.
She's kind of like the night nurse.
Yeah. But as an investigator. So I just thought this was fun. Apparently there were only 5 issues because nobody was buying it.
I bought it.
Except for Brian.
Yeah.
Did you
Because
get all 5 issues?
I don't. That's probably one of my copies right there.
Brian,
Oh,
the
yeah.
only fan of this series.
I didn't say I liked it. I just bought it and read it. Okay.
Wait, but I thought fans were supposed to hate the things they're fans of.
So this is just one of those little oddities from the 80s that like popped up, keeps popping up every once in a while. And knowing Marvel in the cinematic universe, they grab little characters and pop them in. Like even like the news anchors on the TV shows are like from the comics. So you never know. Thought it was cool.
It's also a great cover.
Yeah, it's a good cover.
I have nothing to contribute to that. Yes, I agree.
So next we have the follow-up to one of my favorite runs of comics, which is Green Lantern, Green Arrow. Now this is after Neil Adams left the book. I don't remember who the penciler was, but still, this run on comics is legendary. Green Lantern, Green Arrow is when Neil Adams Denny O'Neil really started to go full force with all the political commentary and discussions of what the world was, and I think it's a really powerful book. Certainly, some of it's going to be a little dated. It's been a long time, but I do think Denny O'Neil put something really excellent out into the world there. And so it's really cool to see that the series lived on after Neil Adams left.
There's a first appearance in there too, isn't there?
Yes, Airwave 2 has his first appearance, which is Harry Jordan, one of Hal Jordan's cousins. Or is it Harold or Harry? I'm not sure.
Harold.
Okay, it's Harold Jordan.
You know what his powers are?
He has like weird sound-based powers, but I'm not fully sure of the specifics. I think Grant Morrison did something with him recently involving like the weird sound-based planet from the Flash that he introduced before I was born.
Okay.
And next we have an issue of Guy Gardner Warrior. Speaking of Green Lantern, Guy Gardner is one of those Green Lanterns who I think is often an unsung character, but that's because he's very hard to write. It's very easy to write the sort of roughneck, angry kind of character and just make him a jerk, but I think Guy Gardner at his best is someone who does care about his comrades. And also this cover is like really cool because it's sort of a sideways cover.
So that's based on Edward Hopper's Nighthawks painting.
Oh, that makes sense.
The very famous
Very,
designer.
very famous. You can't.
I don't know my art.
You
Sorry.
can't walk 10 feet without seeing a reference to it.
Which actually, there's besides having the heroes in there, one of the big differences is there's a door there on this cover.
Yeah.
There is no entrance in the painting.
Oh.
And when it was pointed out to him, he said, "Oh my God, I can't believe I forgot."
Oh, I heard about that recently.
And I've seen that
appears
in real life because it's on display at the Art Institute of Chicago.
Oh, that's dope. Everybody loves Chicago.
Jamie Tracy agrees with me. I don't know over what, but
Jamie wants that. The Guy Gardner.
Good taste, Jamie.
There you go.
Well, he is something of an art historian.
Let's see what that note says on that Doctor Strange.
It was the appearance of a character whose name I forgot.
Apollo, Queen of the Sun. Doctor Strange number 22. Her first appearance. I have no idea who that is, but I like to make note of first appearances.
That's smart. You know, I enjoy me some Doctor Strange. I love magic. I love weird nonsense. That's what you get out of Doctor Strange. You know, recently I acquired an omnibus of Chris Claremont's non-X-Men work, and I'm looking forward to reading his run on Doctor Strange. I'm also kind of excited for the new Doctor Strange movie with Sam Raimi, because, you know...
Sam who? I've never heard of Sam Raimi.
You
What
liar.
does he do?
Paul, you're a liar. I'm not even going to entertain this joke. Paul loves Sam Raimi, I guarantee it.
I don't know what you're talking about.
You know he's never seen The Evil Dead?
Wait, really?
Never.
Oh, Rose was joking.
Never.
Okay.
Paul even likes Spider-Man 3.
Oh, no.
I like 2/3 of it.
That's fair, honestly.
What did you just crack?
It was an X-Men comic.
Oh, I just put it there to fill up the space.
Yeah.
Next we have Tor.
Tor number 1.
Tor number 1.
Tell me about Tor, Paul.
Tor is a character that's in a comic book, and he's got a first issue.
So, Brian, tell us about Tor.
Tor is
Conan
a barbarian.
barbarian.
Yeah,
Okay.
He's just
Another barbarian.
another barbarian that, Conan was selling comics, and
Like
So-
door to door. Conan.
Conan O'Brien.
yeah. So yeah.
Well, it's just like how, like, if one thing gets popular, then everybody does the same
Absolutely.
thing. Like how westerns were massive, and like you couldn't like escape them, and so for a very brief time, cavemen were super cool.
Definitely.
There's a difference between cavemen and barbarians.
Well, it's weird because it says Tor the Caveman,
Okay.
so I'm just saying.
So it looks like Tor was created by Joe Kubert
Nice.
We love Joe Cooper here.
in the story 1 million years ago in 1953.
That was a long time ago.
Yeah. So maybe that predates. I don't really know if that predates Conan in the comics or not, but
Yeah. Just a cool, another one of those fun little oddities of the past. And who knows, with DC not have any luck with movies, maybe they'll turn Tor.
Truthfully, I would probably go see a Tor the Caveman movie
Absolutely.
just out of, like, curiosity.
I am more of a Beastmaster fan, but yeah,
That's fair.
that's my barbarian realm.
not Lady Hawk.
No,
No Lady
too
Hawk
boring.
fans. Yeah, I'm not a Lady Hawk.
I don't know what that means.
Oh my gosh. You've got 2 movies to watch now.
I've always
2.
wanted to watch Lady Hawk, or wanted to like Lady Hawk, but it's just so uneventful.
Yeah.
Good old Matthew Broderick
And Rutger Hauer.
and Rutger Hauer.
All
I was
right.
going for the more. He's in a fantasy movie. All right. Our last batch of back issues for the week. Got a lot of X-Men, a lot of X-Forces, and some more fun stuff. We've got several annuals, again, because it's the end and beginning of the year. Annual. I'm trying to be clever.
Paul, you are clever.
We got X-Men Annual number 9, X-Men Annual number 10, X-Men Annual number 11.
One of which features the first appearance in the X-Men series, at least, of Longshot.
That's right. I knew I was forgetting something.
It's not his first appearance. He first appeared in an Anno Senti and Art Adams miniseries, which, if you haven't read it, you have homework to do.
Which issue is that? Number 10?
Yeah, that's number 10, which is very strange because this annual is set before the Mutant Massacre, and yet it has Psylocke and Longshot on the team, even though they don't join till later. Weird little continuity hiccup, but it's a great story, great annual. Highly recommend it. If you like Longshot, if you like Psylocke, if you like X-Men, you might want to
I
read
don't
it.
like any of those things.
Paul, how are we friends if you don't like X-Men?
It's got a nice appearance of the kid X-Men in number 10, I think.
Yeah, that's going to be the first appearance of the X-Children. I think they're the X-Babies.
Yeah, the X-Babies.
Yeah. When you have the newcomers having to be the adults.
So after those, we have got X-Force number 1, still in the poly bag. You love your Cable, you love your X-Force.
We know that everyone here, wants to be back in the 90s with shoulder pads and pouches and Rob Liefeld being relevant.
Tiny, tiny feet.
Yes, and no eyes.
Ruben wants the X-Force.
Of course he
Ruben.
does.
Well, that's a really good price for.
That is.
Well, I mean, it's not like there weren't a million of them.
Right.
Yeah.
But it's still poly.
It's still poly bag, brand new. Excellent.
Really good condition.
Especially the ornaments too.
For this one, I picked out specifically Dalton, then I'm going to hand it over to Eric. Dalton, John Carter, Warlord of Mars, number 18. The first artwork Frank Miller did for Marvel.
Ooh. That's really cheap for that.
Yes. Well, again, it's not in the perfectest of condition, but it's in good shape. I wouldn't knowingly put something up here that's in not good shape.
So you may wonder, why is this John Carter comic in the middle of a bunch of X-Men stuff? You have Excalibur, you have X-Men, you have X-Force.
What is that, Eric?
So, Excalibur number 16, one of my favorite comics, is also known as Kurt Wagner, Warlord of ? Because Chris Claremont really loves John Carter, and he wanted to write a John Carter series, but he was not allowed to write John Carter. So you know what he did? He wrote John Carter in Excalibur, with Kurt Wagner playing the role of John Carter. Now this story, one of my favorites, is part of a longer issue. As you see, we have a few more Excalibur issues that are part of it. They're part of a longer story arc, pardon me, called the Cross-Time Caper. A really cool thing about the Cross-Time Caper is that while it is technically a story arc, it's fairly episodic, so that if you just want to pop in and read one issue, one part of the story, you're perfectly good to do so, and it's not going to be too big an issue. It's Excalibur hopping around the multiverse, encountering different Earths, and just having a good time. You have them going to a world where horses and magic are still a thing in the 20th century, commonly. You have them going to the silliest Marvel universe in number 14. I'll say this. It's got my favorite ending to a comic that I've read in a long time. And in general, the Cross-Time Caper is just a good storyline. If you like Kitty Pryde, if you like Nightcrawler, if you like Rachel Summers, if you like Captain Britain, this is a series for you. Or if you just like having a good time when you're reading your comics. There's sometimes some heavy stuff in Excalibur, but in general it tends to stay on the lighter side of books, which, given when it was coming out and what was happening in the X-Men and the New Mutants at the time, you needed some levity.
Yeah.
I have a feeling like we're going to start ending these shows with our own fan casting. So when we get there, I want Eric to think about who he wants to be Captain Britain.
Okay.
And that John Carter of Mars,
Mhm.
Continuing your theme of comics that then had amazing movies.
Hey man, that movie is not bad.
I have not seen it, but I have wanted to see it.
I saw it when I was a
Yeah,
child.
Disney, give it a watch. Like it's fairly solid.
Yeah,
Well, have
I've
you
heard
ever-
it was actually good.
It's not
so,
perfect.
Have you seen The Martian?
Yes.
Then just watch that again.
Wait, the one with Matt Damon?
Yeah.
The one with Donald Glover.
Donald Glover's in that?
Yeah.
Who's
Oh,
one
yeah.
of the NASA dudes.
Yeah, that's true. That's
I
right.
haven't
He's
watched
the
it 'cause I
yeah.
don't care about
Space.
Ridley Scott movies.
Okay.
Post the 90s.
What about Prometheus?
Tell me about Scarecrow.
What would you like to know about Scarecrow? That this is not DC's Gotham's Scarecrow. This is Marvel's Scarecrow. Is that what you want to hear?
Yes.
Okay. Well, this is Marvel's Scarecrow. Tossed him up here because of our Ghost Rider event this week. This is a retelling of Scarecrow's origin. It is Dead of Night, which was a anthology horror series that Marvel was doing in the early mid-90s. It's actually rare that I come across them. I don't see them that often. I don't think they made a lot of them.
That's from the 90s?
Yeah.
It looks like a 70s book.
It's just cool.
Hmm.
To the right of it, we have Ghost Rider and Captain America in I think it's like a 64-page issue called Fear. It is awesome. It is fighting. They are teaming up to fight Scarecrow. It is awesome. They did a couple really cool Ghost Rider crossover books in the 90s. And then we've got, as I was referencing earlier, the best cover of all time for anything, anywhere. Is that centered?
Mhm.
That is a glow-in-the-dark cover. It is the coolest thing in the history of life.
I think Alan Davis covers would probably want to fight you about that.
I don't care.
I see Paul's not an Alan
Do they
Davis.
glow in the dark?
Do they glow in the dark?
No.
Probably if you covered them in like
No.
radioactive
And
material.
the artist I was referencing earlier, Mark Texiera, this is one of his drawings. It is just anything he does Ghost Rider is amazing. And it still glows in the dark. I tested it earlier. It still glows.
Dalton would like that.
I honestly, I think I have 3 copies of this at home.
That doesn't surprise me. Paul likes his Ghost Rider like I like my X-Men.
And I was talking to Jamie last night about Ghost Rider. Ghost Rider, awesome character, never been in like a good story. Like all of his stories, all of his runs, there's cool stuff in them, but like there's no like epic.
They usually start out really strong. Like the first story arc is really good, and then they're like, and now what do we do with this demon guy?
Yeah.
You know, like who is he
Give
going to
them
fight
another
now?
demon guy with bigger spikes.
Right. Yeah.
Which is who that Vengeance character is.
I liked some of the Robbie Reyes stuff that happened a few years ago. That was pretty good.
I didn't get into Robbie Reyes simply because I didn't like his design and I don't care about muscle cars.
Okay,
The
that's
same
fair.
way I don't care, and he's not a true Ghost Rider. Don't get me
Nerd.
started.
All right. What else we got? We're still going over those. We went over those Excaliburs
We went over
there.
those
All the Excaliburs.
Now it's just
A late addition to the adaptations is the 1989 Batman. $10. It's in awesome condition. It is gorgeous. It is awesome.
It's Tim Burton.
It's still my Batman. I mean,
Mine's Kevin
still
Conroy.
Batman to me.
You're just a sucker for nipples on a costume.
Yeah.
I thought this was a family program.
What? I'm just telling you.
no, but I mean, like, there's no debate. Kevin Conroy is the best Batman.
Well, yeah.
Yes.
Live action. Not counting Kevin Conroy as in the.
I was going to say, Kevin Conroy has been live action Batman now, so you're wrong.
Mhm.
In my opinion.
So that's the adaptation of.
This is the adaptation of the 1989 Tim Burton, Michael Keaton, Jack Nicholson movie. In case that was not obvious, that's Jack Nicholson.
Which we also determined this was a Christmas movie.
The second one's a Christmas.
Second one, dang it.
Yes.
Oh, Rose is wrong.
Shut the show down.
Kill the feed! Kill the feed!
Technical difficulty.
And since we were short on not a lot of new releases this week, didn't get to dig through a lot of back issues this week, we pulled some trade paperbacks. I pulled a really great science fiction book by Jeff Lemire. Maybe you heard of him. This is from the publisher TKO. They do some really cool stuff, artist creator stuff. They do these oversized trade paperback formats, and then they do these single issue box sets. So you got the sleeve there, you've got the box, and then they oversized comic issues. They come nice and bundled like
Oh,
that.
that's so cool.
The only problem is that they don't fit in any bag and board.
Oh. TKO. Make your own bag and board for us, please.
But I mean, the artwork is gorgeous. This was nominated for an Eisner last year. It's just a really good book about humanity trying to, the age-old story of trying to find a new Earth to live on, and then all of the adults dying on the spaceship, and the kids have to take care of themselves with their sentient spaceship.
Considering it's Jeff Lemire, I can't say that I'm shocked that it got nominated for a Eisner Award.
And the artwork is just beautiful. It's a throwback to that 70s European artwork.
Awesome.
Art, stuff you'd see in heavy metal.
So some Fumetti kind of stuff, or more British, or
No, more Italian, Frenchy kind of stuff. Yeah. So that's my book for the week. We got some more that I didn't pick, and that's not saying that they're bad. It's saying I didn't pick them.
So first, we'll start with what I suggested. We also have a couple from friend of the show, Jamie. So first, this is the first Dawn of X collection. So this has X-Men 2019 number 1, Marauders number 1, Excalibur 2019 number 1, New Mutants, X-Force, and Fallen Angels number 1 as well. So if you are sort of struggling to get into the new X-Men continuity, this is the place to start. They've been releasing these with each new issue, where it is the number 1, number 2, etc. of each series, and it's a really cool way to follow them.
I agree. That's the way I had been reading it. I've kind of slacked off on it. I've only read the first 4.
Okay.
But it's a great way if you want to. You don't want to just focus on one X team, and you want to get the whole world that's going on. This is a great way.
And
it's really brilliant.
Yeah, that is a great way to collect it.
And it's a really good
such
world.
a big world. You can get little chapters of it. It's like watching a TV show where they cut from character to character to character. It's like that. It's really good. It's the best the X-Men has been
in a long time.
Since maybe Grant Morrison, if not earlier.
I think I can co-sign that it's the best stuff since Grant Morrison. I love Kieran Gillen's run, don't get me wrong, but this is just a little better.
Rose,
Yes.
you familiar with this one?
A little familiar, yes.
You want to tell us anything about it? You want to give us your take on it?
I really love Rat Queens. I think it's absolutely fantastic. Well, anybody who knows me knows I'm a massive D&D nerd, and it's very reminiscent of your weekly game with your friends if everybody is drunk and cursing all the time. It's these female adventurers who are foul-mouthed and really, really morally gray. And they kind of, rather than trying to be heroes, they fall into adventure a lot. It's just absolutely excellent. The characters are incredible. The art's incredible. It's hilarious.
Which volume is that? Is that
That
number
is
1?
volume number 1, and this is one of those awesome. Any company who doesn't do it, the first volume, Image generally does them at $10. So this is only $10. Gets you hooked on the rest of the series, and then they're $100 each.
No, it's so great. It's one of my favorite books in the last 10 years or so.
Yeah, so definitely something. If you haven't read it, pick it up, give it a read. Only $10. What do you got next?
So next we have a trio of space-ish books.
Space-ish.
I say 4 is space-ish. It's very cosmic, but it's not as space.
What's the difference between cosmic and space?
Oh, that's
You should have known that.
that's not a conversation for today.
Okay.
So first we have Star Wars Vader Down, the first crossover of the modern Marvel era of Star Wars comics, and it's a fantastic read. It's a crossover between the Star Wars and Darth Vader series. As someone whose favorite Star Wars character these days is Dr. Aphra, it is such a fun read.
Okay, that's awesome.
If you like Darth Vader, if you like Dr. Aphra, if you like the original movie crew, cannot recommend it anymore. Next,
And that's Jason Aaron, right? It was writing.
Yes.
Jason Aaron,
and Jason
also
Aaron.
Jason Aaron.
So this next one is from the last of the Jason Aaron Thor ongoings. This one in particular was recommended to us because it has some tie-ins to the story in Avengers that Jason Aaron is writing at the moment. It involves the Phoenix Force. I won't be more specific because I don't want to offer spoilers, but his current Avengers story is all about the Phoenix Force. This is all about the Phoenix Force. If you love some Phoenix Force, can't go wrong with Jason Aaron's Thor.
They were also geeking out over it before the show.
Yes. It's awesome. And this one is another of my favorites. I really love Abnett and Lanning's Guardians of the Galaxy run, and this ties into that. So if you love all of the Marvel space books, if for some reason you like Emperor Vulcan, I mean, I like this story, but Gabriel Summers is trash. If you enjoy some space, if you enjoy Guardians of the Galaxy, whether you enjoyed the movies or enjoy the comics, this is a great read. It has the main series as well as a few of the tie-ins. I do recommend tracking down the Guardians of the Galaxy tie-in issues in particular if you want to read this story. But it's a great read. It's really fun. And this was one of the books that sort of redefined the Marvel space books as being the fantastic reads that they were.
And this is all post-Annihilation, right?
That is correct.
Yeah, so
And written by Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles' Will Abnett.
Yes.
no, this is Dan Abnett.
Rose,
If-
it's going to make me keel over.
if anybody's read any 40K novels, Dan Abnett has been a staple writer for 40K novels, Warhammer 40K for decades. Well, I don't know about
How
that
many
long, but
decades?
like one.
And Andy Lanning was one of the writers on Endless Winter.
Oh, there you go.
Dan Abnett also had a fantastic run on Titans a couple of years ago. Recommend tracking that down if you like.
He's a great writer.
Rose?
M would like the
This one?
Vader.
I am.
M would like the Vader down.
What can you tell us about this one?
Well, if anybody knows me, they know I'm a huge D&D nerd. So it's kind of hard to describe, but it's a mix between the real world and a fantasy world.
Okay.
Kind of like in a Chronicles of Narnia-ish type thing. If Chronicles of Narnia was super depressing and rated R.
Okay.
So
good.
Hey.
And there's a murder mystery in it, and random regular people getting special powers. It's very great. That's what I say about that.
Excellent. It's written by Kieran Gillen, which Eric is a fan of. Which I am too, just not as big a fan as.
You wrote Young Avengers, okay?
Yes, he did.
I love him.
Oh, that was me pouting at Paul, not you.
I know, I know.
You're fine.
But yeah, Die is just it's dark and twisted, and just the first issue, like it really does set the tone for the whole series. Well, as I hope any good comic would, but yeah.
The double meaning of die.
Yes, there is a double meaning for Die.
Yes. The and die.
Yes. And
That was my throwback to The Simpsons. The Bart the.
wow, that took me a second. And
Wow.
it's not one issue. It's a whole trade paperback. It's several issues.
I think there's 2 trade paperbacks and the third one coming.
Do you want to know what issue it was? So it's 6 whole issues, generally.
Well, this is issues 1 through 5.
1 through 5.
Oh, it's
Rose is wrong again.
God.
And in that
at least we know she's not always right.
image
Just
edition, this is volume 1 is $10.
Mm-hmm.
And get you hooked.
M says, "What ta 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 ta."
What?
Exactly.
Emma's a good friend of mine.
Oh, okay.
Is very excited. Jamie Tracy he said Raccoons is great. He thinks Die is great.
I wonder why he has those opinions.
It's not like he's the one who suggested them.
These are both books that like I plan on reading. I just have a long list of stuff to get through, and I don't play D&D, so it's not on the highest part of my list.
Yeah. Oh, and they're both very accessible for people who don't, though. And if you're familiar with the themes of like swords and sorcery, then you're fine.
Yeah, this one was given to me by my old DM back in the day. He was purging his comic collection, and he gave me his copy.
But in Rat Queens, in a tavern, because stuff happens in taverns all the time as in D&D, there is a cameo of the cast of Critical Role.
How exciting for those of you who enjoy Critical Role.
There's millions of us.
There are a lot of people.
I was specifying.
Yes.
Jamie Tracy also says, "Wa-ta-ta-ta-ta." Love this. Love it.
That is it for our comics this week. We did also get in this awesome lunchbox for the fans of the Umbrella Academy.
Nice. No thermos.
No thermos, unfortunately. It didn't specify when I ordered them.
Very Super Friends, the one part of it.
I feel like this is probably like an in-universe product
Absolutely.
that they marketed in-universe.
M would like Die.
Please don't die.
In these trade paperbacks, we have multiples of most of them. So if one sells, we should have another.
Actually, I love Rat Queen so much. I'm gonna buy that for M and send it to her.
That's so nice.
Yeah.
Oh.
We can't do that for all of our
Well,
the people that comment though.
No.
We don't want to set a precedent.
we're not setting a precedent.
Okay.
I'm not buying anything for Ruben.
That's right.
I will never buy anything. He buys as much as it is.
Ow. All right, let's get one last shot of the Thor Couture.
I've got all three going.
All right, good. First appearance of the 26th century Thor
What was his name again?
Couture. Dargo Couture. Is it Kator, do you think? Or is it just
Kator sounds right.
Yeah? There's no
No.
like
Apostrophe.
apostrophe or dash or anything, so
Yeah.
I like his design. Can we get the close up of that? Because it's Thor-ish, but different.
I like how he has a T on his belt.
He got that from there was a crossover where he met Mr. T.
He's like Thunderstrike before Thunderstrike existed.
That's right.
Everyone loves Thunderstrike.
Everyone does love Thunderstrike. Except for
Who?
Dr. Donald Blake.
Yes.
I just got caught up on the recent Thor, and I'm like, I don't know why I blinked on his name.
West Coast Avengers #1.
Um,
That's just the limited series #1 though, right? Or is that
Well, the white one is the limited series, the black one is the ongoing.
right?
So I got two #1s there.
Dargo Couture can also be Gator Dork.
Did you run it through an anagram?
Yeah.
Gator Dork. Nice.
Paul, did you have a casting question for me?
Well, you bringing this back up means kind of implies that you thought of somebody, or you already had somebody. Who would you like to see as Captain Britain?
So I was kind of cheating because it's kind of hard to like.
Is it Nicolas Cage?
No. So I actually thought, in the spirit of the current comics, instead of trying to cast the Brian Braddock Captain Britain, I would cast the Betsy Braddock Captain Britain. Because Teenie Howard's Excalibur is very dear to me, and Betsy Braddock is a character who is very dear to me, both as Psylocke and now as Captain Britain. So I had the idea of casting. So hear me out here.
I'm listening.
We're
That's why
ready.
I'm staring
My
off his
idea
face.
Our breath
was
is faded.
Amelia Clark
Oh,
as Betsy Braddock. What do you
that's
think?
cool. Yeah. I'm in. Sign me up.
Yeah, I think that would be a fantastic, a fantastic cast.
Amelia Clark is the girl that was
Daenerys
in
Targaryen.
Daenerys. Yeah,
Sarah Connor.
she was Sarah Connor.
Wow.
Well, that was only like 3 years ago.
Yeah.
Wait, what?
Excellent
I
movie.
didn't realize that she was.
Yeah, she was in the not the previous last Terminator.
Huh. I didn't realize that
The
that was her.
Genesis.
Captain Britain though, like Brian Braddock, like I know it's playing too much to type right now, but Anthony Starr.
Yeah, I can see it.
I have somebody that you might know who he is because he's British and he's a comedian, and it's not in like
Is it Greg Davies?
yes. No, Jack Whitehall. If he balked up, played it straight, he's got that great jaw.
He
He's
couldn't
got
do
great
it.
delivery.
So
No, he's so puny and skinny mini.
Because actors can't bulk up.
So I actually think a comedian is a perfect
British ones
casting.
can't.
Is a perfect casting for Brian Braddock, because especially if you're going for an Excalibur type story, he's the character who the jokes take the piss out of in those comics. You know, he is the butt of the joke. He is the big man
I'm
who
right.
he's the big man who takes pratfalls, because when you have a character that powerful in that specific type of book, in the more lighthearted books, the best way to portray them is, you know, to make fun of them, because otherwise their power sort of supersedes everything else. So when you make them the butt of the joke, it makes them work much better in that kind of story. I also really like how Chris Claremont is willing to sort of discuss how his own creation, because Chris Claremont originally created Captain Britain. I appreciate how he's willing to portray him as maybe not always the best guy, because a lot of writers have a hard time doing that with their creations sometimes.
That is true. Such wisdom from such a young man.
From such a babe.
Ruben, you need to come back before I start making fun of Eric.
Wait, mispronounced something.
Jeff Lemire.
Yay!
Very good, very good. I mean, terrible.
Yes, as Ruben normally points out, I do a creator end cap every month. I started doing it, and Jeff Lemire is going to be January. So there's going to be a whole end cap of Jeff Lemire books. So come on in, check him out. He's covered the gambit of like he's done everything.
It's entirely going to
So-
be Justice League Dark.
Yes, Moon Knight,
Okay.
the same trade paperback of Moon Knight over and over and over again.
Excellent.
That's not far from something you would do though.
If we had enough copies.
So I think this will be the last one for the year that we do of these things, right? And
Last one for the year.
yeah,
Yeah.
and then I guess should we keep doing it next year? Do you think you guys having a good time, or
Get back to me next year. I'll give me some time to ruminate.
okay?
Yeah.
You have a week.
I thought I had that next year.
Yeah,
Well, if you're being technical, next year's 2 days.
that's true. All right. Well, next Wednesday, 2021. Are we going to do anything fun for the 21?
Since it's 21, all our comic books will get free shots.
Mhm.
All of our comic books will be from 21 years ago, some 2000.
That's a good idea.
Jamie Tracy did recommend that we just do number 21 issues. So issue 21 of a bunch of stuff.
The only really important issue 21 is the G.I. Joe number 21.
Did Larry Hama write that?
Yes.
Didn't you write the whole series?
No.
Oh,
What's special about that?
There's no words in it.
Oh, that
There's
one.
no
Oh, that's
dialogue.
cool.
It's the silent issue.
They've reprinted that recently.
that's the one focusing on Snake Eyes, right?
And Storm. It was the introduction of Storm Shadow too.
Oh, dope.
The more you know.
And knowing is half the battle.
All right. So say Happy New Year and
Happy New Year, everybody.
Happy New Year. You probably won't see me next week, but who knows?
Okay.
Signing off. Have a good night. Have a good New Year.
Have a good night.
Be
Have a good
safe.
New Year.